Ladies and gentlemen, it is Daytona 500 weekend. It's the early evening buffet sports buffet with the Ginch. I'm the Ginch Ryan F. There's a story behind the name. I will tell it later on. A little speed racer from 1969. The original theme song. I will be making my Daytona 500 picks a little bit later. I'm not going to play the whole song because it gets annoying. So, ladies and gentlemen, she is in the green room. Before I bring her on, though, I know she's a Temple grad. So the Temple fight song, and of course, my screen is frozen. Hopefully hers is not frozen. It is windy here, ladies and gentlemen, so we might have a little bit of an issue. Let's see if it refreshes or if it catches up. You still there, Lauren? No, the entire show has frozen for some odd reason. I don't know if anybody can hear me, but it might be because of the weather. Let's see. Still there?
I'm here.
It is very windy here, so I have a feeling that might be the problem. I was playing the Temple fight song because I know you were a Temple grad.
I could hear you. Well, yeah, I went to Temple. I didn't graduate Temple.
Okay.
But I did go to Temple.
Still a student. Lauren, thanks so much for coming on. Lauren and I have been communicating back and forth for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And look, Flyers. She's a busy woman. So I'm grateful that she's decided to join. Thank you so much, Lauren.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be with you.
So I know you've done this ad nauseum, but everybody knows you associate with the Flyers. Your father was the voice of the Flyers. How did it sort of come to pass? He's the voice of the Flyers. You get into singing. You're passionate about singing. How did that all come about, or you wound up singing the national anthem for the Flyers?
Well, I always wanted to sing when I was little because they always had like a singer. Hockey has that cool tradition that they have their person. So growing up, there was always somebody doing it. There was always somebody already there. And I kept asking my dad, come on, can you get me in? You got connections. And I think he was hesitant at first because, I sang in school in chorus and stuff, but I don't know if he knew exactly like if I could do that or not. That's a pretty large order there to go in front of that many thousands of people and to sing that difficult of a song. But I asked, and eventually I got to fill in a few times. There's a video somewhere on the internet of probably the very first time I did it, looking horrified. And but I just wanted to always do it. And then so fast forward, I wasn't living here. I lived in New York and then LA for years. And I was back visiting. My dad was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And they had asked me on the opening night, would I sing the anthem, and they would ask my dad to like walk me out, so they could kind of honor him, which was like really, really cool. And I have that picture, which I just love. But that was really the start of it. And then I came off the ice and they're like, hey, you want to sing every night? And I thought, well, I'm here. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Not knowing that all these years later, I'd still be singing the song, but just circumstances happen, and I'm a huge hockey fan, and I'm a huge Flyers fan, like numero uno. So it's just I'm so grateful, and it's been such a blessing for me to be able to be there and be part of the Flyers family for all this time, and really since I was born. But it's neat that I get to bring my kids now, like my dad brought us when we were little.
It has to be a rush every time you step out onto the ice and there's 20,000 fans.
It is.
Look, you've done theater. I dabbled in theater about 10 years ago. I got sucked into doing 2 musicals. I don't sing.
Ooh.
I do karaoke every once in a while, but I can't imagine being in front of 20,000 people. I get nervous and sweaty just going in front of a theater of 100 people. So it has to be a rush, though, every time you step out into the ice and belt that out.
It's like walking to the edge of a cliff and just taking the view in, because it's breathtaking, it's beautiful, but it's terrifying at the same time. And it's not an easy song to sing, and you know, it's just such a, nobody's breathing at that moment. Everybody's looking at you. Everything has stopped. Players are all standing in front of you, and you're looking around. You've got pretty much everybody's attention. And so you're like, okay, this better be great. I better knock it out of the park. So I do love doing it. It's a huge rush. And I guess being a little bit nervous about it, I won't call it nerves. I'll call it adrenaline. When you get that adrenaline going, I guess it just keeps you on your toes.
Have you ever been close to forgetting the words, Lauren?
No, no.
Okay.
Although while I'm singing, there's been times that I'm like, wait, where am I? What verse? But it kind of just comes out. It's kind of like singing for me Happy Birthday. You've done it so many times, you'd never go, well, what's the words to Happy Birthday? But, with all of the things going on around you, it's easy to, sort of lose your place for a second. But fortunately for me, I've never done that. And yeah, knock on something. Yeah.
Because people think it's so easy. But there's YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen them
Yep.
of people forgetting
Yeah.
the words, or everybody remembers Fergie's rendition and She
Yes.
Got Black.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. And for me, I mean, it's a moment of like unity, and it's patriotic, but it's a respectful moment. So I kind of just do it straight. I sing it straight. I have my little things that I do, my own personality, but it never, my father, the only piece of advice he ever gave me was, you know, don't try too hard. Just sing the song. It's already done. So that's kind of what I try to do. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's only that song, but it really is, kind of a challenge, and I like that. I like that as well. Keeps me.
What's more nerve-wracking, doing the national anthem, or performing with artists such as Stan Getz, the Gypsy Kings, Harry Belafonte, and Frank Sinatra? What's more nerve-wracking?
Honestly, the anthem.
Okay.
I'm much more comfortable with my band. I feel like I've got others on the stage or an orchestra. You're not so alone out there. Whereas when you're on the ice, you're the only one without skates. You're kind of out of place, you know. So, and, over the years, I think people have come to expect a certain, me to do it a certain way. So, to try to live up to that standard. And I'm always trying to, even now, do better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to like take it to that next place. So, and it's like, it was great. I was talking to Brad Marsh last night, because it's interesting to me. I don't know always what the players are thinking at that time, and he was saying, it's absolutely the worst when someone gets up and sings and it's really long and they're waiting and waiting and waiting. And he said, on the other hand, he's like, if it's good, he's like, that moment just like levels everything up. The fans start going crazy and everybody's ready for the puck drop. So he said, it really can get things going. And kind of that's, I feel like I'm part of the show there. And that's the opening act. And I just try to get everyone psyched for the game, and get everybody's, spirits and energy going.
Now, what's the name of your band? Because I know you sang with the DeVelles at one point.
I did. Jerry Gross, his daughter, went to my high school, and we were friendly, and we were buddies growing up, and I knew they had a band, and I thought that was the coolest. And I was like, if you ever need somebody to sing, call me up. And so I ended up doing that and playing a little background singing and keyboards, and that was kind of like one of my first band experiences. Yeah.
Okay. I was listening to some of the music by went to the website.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to listen, it's laurenhart.com. Some of my favorite songs I wrote down from listening to them. I Might Be was
Oh,
one of them.
I like that one.
The Answer was
Yeah.
another one. And three others, Lay Low,
Mhm.
Painted Bride, and my favorite song out of all of them was Painted Flowers.
Oh, wow. I love
Yeah,
it. I
yeah.
love it. Yeah,
It takes a lot to like tug, at the
yeah,
heartstrings.
yeah.
But Painted Flowers sort of got to me a little bit. So,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
nice. That's so nice. And I remember as soon as you say it, like, um, it's not one of the songs that I do in my current set, like when I play, but as soon as you said it, I remember writing that uh, in the house with a friend of mine, Buddy Judge. And yeah, those are like little moments, when you come up with something like that and you get together, especially, I write a lot on my own, but that particular one came to life with a friend of mine and who also produced my first record. So it was really, I love that you said that because that's not one that always comes up,
I'm a
but one of my
sucker.
favorites.
I'm a sucker for love ballad. Like one of my favorite song of all time is Purple Rain.
Oh,
It's just
we're
it's
connected. We're like,
it,
that's it. Love that song.
yeah. So talk to me about going into the recording studio and recording your albums that you have. It was seven of them?
7, 8, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to
Yeah.
me about going in the recording studio and what's the process of writing your material?
Yeah. So I usually write everything ahead of time. I don't go into the studio and work there. I like to do it like off on my own. But it's great. You know, every time you record something, it's like you're on another journey and a group of
Hmm.
people are there and you're in a certain place and kind of like that particular record that you're talking about, I recorded in LA at a place called Sound City. And while there were probably two or three studios in there, maybe two, um, like an A room and a B room. And while I was in there, we had Johnny Cash and June
Wow.
Carter Cash was in there for a while. And then Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were in there. Oh my gosh. So every day, there was a common area lunchroom. And so you'd go out and there'd be all these people. And I was there when they Red Hot Chili Peppers recorded Roller Coaster, and they
Yep.
had kazoos and everything. So
Hmm.
it was neat, and all of those folks just, kind of would filter in and out, and they kind of welcomed me. And wow, what a mind blowing experience though to be in that studio and to have all these other people in there. And yeah, amazing, really amazing.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little about the organizations that you're affiliated with. One of them I saw was Moms Demand Action. I had wrote down Everytown International Justice Mission, and obviously the Gene Hart Memorial Fund.
Yeah.
Uh, why are they so special to you? Obviously, the Gene Hart Memorial
Well,
Fund because it's your dad. Yeah.
it's my
Uh,
dad, and it's going back to the temple theme.
hmm.
It provides a scholarship every year in either journalism, like broadcasting, or in music, because that was his other passion in life was music. He just loved it. So, I mean, that it means everything, to have that connection with new talent and new ideas, and that his keeps his, memory alive. And a lot of these kids at this point, maybe didn't know him even.
Right.
So it's good that they're, when they're writing to apply for the scholarship, it's kind of cool that they, go back and listen to what he did and find out who he was. So it kind of keeps things moving and alive all the time. Everytown and Moms Demand Action, that's just for gun safety and really super passionate of project of mine, maybe even the most, um, because I have 4 kids, and it just maybe it was like this before, but it felt like to me when it really started getting weird. When they had shootings in these elementary schools and things,
Yeah.
it just broke my heart. And I just can't imagine, like, we can't do anything better than this. Like, we have to figure out how to, you know, um, face this epidemic of like crazy violence with kids. I mean, so I would give my kids like I had to tell them when they go to school, I gave my kids phones very early, and I did not want to because
Hmm.
they didn't really need a phone, but I got them a flip phone, stuck it in their backpacks, and I'm like, if you ever need me,
Yeah.
here it is,
Yeah.
and so you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do for safety. So anyway, that's a huge part of me. And then the other thing that I do is a cancer charities, fundraising for the American Cancer Society and Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation, and there's so many good organizations. Penn Medicine here in Philly, and so Sandy Rollman Ovarian Cancer Foundation. So I've been really interconnected with that community here in Philadelphia, and obviously a really close subject matter for me.
When I say that Lauren Hart is a busy woman, ladies and gentlemen, I was going through the bio again on your website. Board of Governors. She's on the Board of Governors of the National Academy of Recording Artists and Sciences Grammy Awards, ladies and gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
um, and is the chapter's vice president. She also sits on the board of the Philadelphia Orchestra, has been on advisory boards for both Pennsylvania Hospital and the Philadelphia Zoo, and is an honorary board member of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Southern New Jersey. Where do you find the time to do all this?
Oh man, you know what? You just make it happen when you love what you're doing and you like all these things. For the Grammys, I was involved with that for years and was vice president and then president. So I'm still part of the Recording Academy, but I'm kind of on the sidelines now a little bit, working with some other groups and the Mazzoni Center, and really the one that I'm focused on right now is the Ed Snyder Youth Hockey Foundation, Ed Snyder Youth Hockey and Education, um, which was just an amazing organization put together by our founder of the Flyers, Ed Snyder, just to bring hockey to the city, to kids in the city that might not normally get to play. And so he went around and revitalized these old forgotten rinks and offered free hockey. The only requirement was you had to get your homework done and get in there. But it really, really just, give kids an opportunity and see where they take it. That's all I'm going to say, and that's what Ed Snyder does. So I'm really proud of that one.
Since you were on the board for the Grammys, I've got to get your take on something. Is it
Yes,
really is it really the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore, Lauren?
it really
Um,
isn't, is it?
no, it's not. I mean, I have conversations with friends like it is. They should call it the All Music Hall of Fame
Yeah,
because when it started out, it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Now it's just like the every genre
yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Well, I
You know,
guess I guess they feel like every genre rocks. So whether it's R&B or country or rock and roll. Um, that's not part of the Recording Academy, but it's a very controversial one, even for artists.
mhm.
Um, I always, I'm always interested in what people have to say about that. Obviously, there's some amazing people that have been inducted in there, but there's also so many, there's so many deserving artists. That's a real hard one when you say, let's just get this band or this band or this person, because you're always going to have somebody who's not in the loop, but
Mhm.
is priceless as well. So, you know,
I
I do
totally
watch the
agree.
concert every year, though. I do enjoy
Oh,
that.
do you?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame this year?
Um,
Ozzy and
I and
Cher.
and that one I didn't see, of course.
You didn't see it?
No, it was
Yeah,
good.
Ozzy didn't say too much. He just
Okay.
got up there, said a couple sentences, and then
Uh,
that was it. So,
yeah.
uh, looking over some other things here. Um, Now you lived in France.
Yes, I did. Actually, like Monte Carlo, um,
Okay.
which is kind of France, but not. Um,
How was
yeah, I
that?
lived.
You've been there, you've been LA.
Yes. Well, no, I was one of my earlier gigs. Um, I was part of a show that was there that performed at the Sporting Club in Monaco, and so I lived there over the summer and did two different shows there. And then I ended up just going back. They invited me to come back as like a solo singer, so I sang with the orchestra, which was amazing. And then I sang with in the casino over there, and just I loved it. What a like I was this is like I'm young and just going over to Monaco, and here's princes and all these people running around, and that's where I really got Stan Getz and
Okay.
Frank Sinatra, all those artists were, because I was like the house opening act, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and every week a different artist would roll in of many different genres, like not one specific thing. Um, and, it was pretty crazy. Honestly, one night I had in the audience um, Roger Moore and Sean Connery, because I'm a huge Bond fan, like a huge
Wow.
Bond fan. And I'm looking out, and there they both are in like white tuxedo jackets and like sitting there, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. So yeah, there were so many like great moments like that. Frank Sinatra was there one weekend, and so I got to talk to him sort of later in his career, so he probably wasn't at the height of Frank, but he was
Hmm.
still wonderful and amazing. And also that summer was like the dream team. So it was the United States basketball
Yeah.
team
Yep. Yep.
was there, and Charles Barkley, who I love, was over there along with everybody else, and they came to the show. So it was kind of really cool. It was just magical sort of way to start your career, I guess, right?
So, what was the experience like writing music for Joan of Arcadia, Dawson's Creek, and Party at Five? How is that different than writing your own material? I mean, but you're
So
writing for TV shows.
yeah. So for those shows, it was really kind of the start of, pop or rock music being the soundtrack of these television shows. So those shows were actually just using my
Hmm. Okay, I
so
gotcha.
my songs were part of that. The original and scoring stuff I've done has been more with like documentaries and TV, TV television, some other television shows. But I do, I kind of I love writing for TV or film because you're outside of yourself, right? And you have a mission and you're really focused. And I like it. I really like it a lot, whereas when it's your artist, you're trying to express this whole big thing and big ideas. And it's, trying to be, really saying something that everybody's heard before in a fresh way, in a new way, in a new perspective. So you're trying to be unique, but you're also, you want to connect on the simple things like love and heartbreak and friendship and, social things that are going on. So as opposed to writing for a film, when maybe it's the, when I see pictures, I always hear music. Like when I'm on vacation or I'm driving anywhere, even if there's no music on, I can always hear like a soundtrack in my mind. So I really, really like that part.
I'm gonna try and put you on the spot here. Out of the, now I still call them albums.
Yes, I
Out of,
know.
out of the all the albums that you've done,
Yeah.
what's your favorite?
Hmm. Um, that's really hard. That's really hard because they all they're all so different.
If you were
I
if
don't
you were
know.
if you were driving down the highway and you
Hmm.
had to put a Lauren Hart CD in, which Lauren Hart CD would you put it?
Oh gosh. I want to say that I loved making Painted Bride because that was my very first one, and that's
Hmm.
when I was out in LA and I met all this amazing talent. And there's actually a track that I have for that record that was a cover of a Fleetwood Mac song that did not get released on the album, but that I have. So I'm thinking right now that I should probably put that out. But it was a version of Go Your Own Way.
Okay.
It was we did it really. We did it in a very different, it was slow, it was a real super slow ballad type of thing, and we were doing it in the studio. And man, don't you know Fleetwood Mac is next door, like yeah.
Oh yeah.
and and they come walking in, and I'm like I was like horrified because I'm like, well, what if they hate what I'm doing to their song? But they walked in and they Mick Fleetwood, and he was standing there, and he's like, and I'm just like sweating. And he said, he's like, that's the way we should have done the song. So I was like, oh
Wow.
god. So yeah, so that was just such a great experience because that was my first big thing. And just got to meet so many different people and artists, and it's kind of the start of everything. So it's hard to pick a favorite, though. You know,
Wow.
yeah.
Fleetwood Mac. Mick Fleetwood. All six, seven of them, by the way.
Yes, the
He's
tall
very, very
man.
he's a tall man.
Yeah,
A couple more things and I'll get you out of here because I know you're busy. I've got some NASCAR stuff that I've got to get to.
which I
Um,
love racing.
do
Love auto
you?
race. Love auto racing. Yes.
NASCAR, Indy, Formula One.
Um, I'm kind of a well, I'm kind of a Formula One or Indy person, but I
Okay.
like it all. I like it all, and because obviously I've got an anthem reputation. I've been lucky. I've done some really cool races, and I do love it. I love Start Your Engines. I love and I
Yeah.
actually got to ride in the pace car once, which was
Wow.
which was awesome.
Awesome.
I wanted to go much faster. The pace car actually goes very slow. The only exciting bit of it is that you peel off at the last minute, and they're like, oh, and that's you get that little jolt there. But I wanted to get on the track and really
See,
go. Neat,
I'm an old fuddy duddy. NASCAR's not what it used to be. They have all these things now that they changed, and if it's not broke,
right?
please don't fix it. But
It's not.
they've gone in a
Yeah,
completely different direction than what I'm used to. So, talk about the family. You've got 4 kids
I do. And my
adopted. Talk
yep, and
about the hubby. Talk
yeah.
about the hubby and the kids.
Well, and my daughter really like out of nowhere came home and was like a super Formula One fan. She knows everything about it, and I took the kids when they were little up to the Poconos Raceway, and
Okay. Yeah,
they've
yeah,
been to
yeah.
the track and everything. So that stuck with her. But yeah, I have four kids, 3 girls, all in school, and my youngest Beck, who is a budding hockey player, which is amazing for me because I'm seeing youth hockey. I didn't know how people got to the NHL. They were just always kind of there. So now I'm getting to see like you know, this whole process that kids do and go through. It's pretty intense, but he loves it. So I follow him around. And my hubby, founder of La Colombe, the coffee company here in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, and he's a adventure seeker and does some crazy stuff, does some crazy journeys. And we also had a TV show together,
Okay.
called Dangerous Grounds, that was on the Travel Channel for, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons. And it was basically him going out in the world and looking for, the ultimate coffee beans. So somehow we made a show out of that, but it was a lot of fun. Like he was in front of the camera, and I got to do the behind the scenes stuff, which was fun.
They did a documentary on him going to Antarctica, didn't you?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he did a
Yeah.
solo trek across Antarctica,
Wow.
and was the first person to do it unaided. And it was over 40 days. It was insane. Like when I think about it now, um, um, I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how he did it, but I do know that he had a sat phone, and every once in a while we would be in contact. And he said afterwards, he's like, "Oh, my wife really, she really pushed me to go for it and everything." And really, what I was doing on the other end of the phone was like, "You better get this done, because you are never ever going there again." Because it was just nuts. But yeah, so we're this family. We're always on an adventure. We're always looking for.
I have trouble walking 500 feet. Imagine walking across Antarctica.
Yeah.
Now, since the kids are from Ethiopia,
Yep.
do they
Hmm.
enjoy the footy? Do they enjoy soccer?
They do, but my kids are hockey fans. What can I
Hockey
say?
fan? Okay.
We're
All right.
hockey fans. Yes. Uh,
Which leads me to the Philadelphia Flyers, Lauren.
yes.
Um, I feel your pain. I am a Chicago Blackhawks fan. Chicago Blackhawks pushed all their chips. We won 3 cups in 6 years, but now for the last 10 years, we've been absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
Weird.
I know that the Flyers are trying to do all the right things.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think fans thought it would be this tough for this long.
Yeah.
What's your take on the current Flyer situation?
So, definitely growing pains. I think, they had to do it. They had to go through this process in order to get better. You know, when Ed Snyder was around, he was the guy that he was like, I'm going to win at any cost, and I want to win right now. And that's why I think fans like, and really, really loved him so much,
Hmm.
uh, because he was like a right here, right now guy, and he could pull the trigger on anything. He could just make things happen, and didn't mind spending the money, and doing all that. So, but there was also always a core to that team that was really strong. And now we're just, we got all young guys. We've got all, you know, guys that are just like hockey. I was thinking about this when I was watching the Eagles the other day. Um, you know, they have rookies out of college and stuff, but hockey is a long developing sport. So, who's good at 18 might not be good at 22, and who's
Yeah.
who's not good at 22 might be great at 26 years old. So it's kind of a tough, it's a tough hill to climb. And then not only do you need to get like the amazing talent, but you have to get all the pieces have to fall into place like a band, so you can have great band members, but you don't necessarily write a great song. You can have all the best of the best. It doesn't mean you put
Mm-hmm.
out a great record. So I feel like there's still some pieces that they're missing. But getting Mitchkoff, that was super exciting. I think that
Yeah.
was a really huge deal for us. But you look at the teams in the league, and a lot of teams like Buffalo and Chicago and San Jose, they've had multiple, early first round picks, and you just can't tell what's going to happen. And then you have a team like Vegas, which was, kind of guys that not everybody wanted. They weren't the number ones on everybody's list. They weren't guys who were protected by their teams who thought they were like the main guys. So kind of had all these extra guys. Who, by the way, are all mega talented.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
discrepancy between talent at that level is like, it's really not that much. But then, so you have a team like Vegas of just guys that come together and do, an incredible, have these incredible runs and are still great. So, I mean, it's really, really hard to predict. It's hard because I think this season we wanted more, because last season we were so entertained all year round and just missed the playoffs by like, a few weeks. But so I think everyone felt this year was our playoff year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're not out of it, but it would be a really hard thing to pull off at this point. So I just look at it like every game I go, and is it entertaining? Are the people having a good time? And I think in the last few years, we've really made big steps forward to being um, a fun team to watch, to being a competitive team, and the personalities of the guys are starting to like come through and connect with people. So I think we're on the right path. It's just going to maybe hurt a little bit longer than we want it to.
Yeah, well, with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl 2 out of 7 years, the
Uh-huh.
Flyers, the Sixers, and the Phillies have been put
Mm,
on notice.
yes.
They need to sort of step up their program. If anybody wants, the Four Nations face-off, ladies and gentlemen, kicked off yesterday. Canada beat Sweden four
Yes.
to three. Tonight at 8 p.m., USA plays Finland. Who wins the Four Nations face-off, Lauren? Who do you think?
Oof. I want to say USA, but Canada is looking really good. And watching that game last night, Sidney Crosby, oh my gosh, for years he was our nemesis, our rival. So you were just like you wanted to beat him, but now when we're kind of a little bit, both teams are a little bit struggling sometimes. I get to watch him. He's just absolutely incredible. I think he's 37 or 38 years old now. And that team with McDavid and McKinnon and more, it's stacked. So USA Canada definitely in the final, of course.
Okay, okay, all
And then,
right.
and then it's anybody's game at that point. Two amazing teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Miss Lauren Hart. Uh, Tell the people where they can get a hold of you social media wise.
Lauren Hart Music, laurenhart.com, and on Spotify and Apple Music and everywhere you get your tunes streaming into your ears. I'll be there.
Uh, Thank you so much, Lauren, for joining. I will have to pick your brain once the playoffs roll around. I will have to get your Stanley Cup Finals picks.
Ooh, okay, I'll be
But
thinking about that.
we will have to wait until look. We're only 2 months away
Yep.
from the start of the NHL playoffs. But again, Lauren, thank you so much. I know you're busy. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks so much. I got to hear the story of the Ginch. I don't know.
You want to hear it? All right. So when I was in high school, I had a buddy of mine that I went to high school with that he was a year ahead of me. So I graduated in 86.
Mm,
He graduated in 85. And he had two older brothers, the oldest, the middle, and then it was him. So every time I go over, we'd be, watching TV or having a brewski or what. And he just threw out the name Ginch. And every time I would show up at the house, he just started calling me the Ginch. That's the Ginch. The Ginch is here. And I'm like, okay, you dropped the R from the Grinch and you just made it Ginch. So he just started calling me Ginch and it stuck.
And it's
So
stuck. And here you
and
are.
I'm just the Ginch.
The Ginch. I like it.
So yeah. Okay, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
God bless.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Lauren Hart. I was not going to play the national anthem before the show because she probably gets sick and tired of hearing it. um, but yeah, Flyers fan, Philly fan extraordinaire. In about 45 minutes, the Daytona 500 dual races are going to kick off. If they get the track dried in time, uh, they might not even have it. I don't know. We will see. If they get the track dried off in time, we'll see. I still don't understand it. Why you would have your qualifying races at night for a day race? Somebody explain that to me, Lucy. I have no clue. But I'll never be able to stay up for both of them anyway. Some news and notes from around the world of sports today. The Jets have announced a split with Aaron Rodgers. No surprise there. No shock. It looks like the Jets are going to have to eat $49 million. Just trying to read over the details here. Whatever. It was a bad experiment, and the Jets are moving on. The NBA has dropped the Steph Curry Sabrina Ionescu 3-point showdown. The NBA announced Thursday that the 3-point shooting event they're not going to be part of the lineup in San Francisco. Why any sport does anything anymore? Whether it's NASCAR, the NBA, the NFL, the NHL. You had a fantastic product years ago, and then you start tinkering with shit, and don't get me started. Whatever. It gets annoying. I don't think Lauren knows that her camera is still on. I'm currently looking at her ceiling. I think that's her ceiling. New Saints head coach Kellen Moore is non-committal on Derek Carr. Go figure. He probably wants his own guy in there. So we are going to flip through stuff fairly quickly because I need to watch these Daytona duels. If you want one thing you want to look for tonight, again, it doesn't make any sense why they're having these at night when it's a day race. The handling of the race cars at Daytona, yes, it's speed. They have the restrictor plates on them to reduce the speed. Unlike Talladega, where you can just floor it and hold it wide open, not worry about handling so much. Daytona's a little bit different. It's a little bit tighter track. It's not as wide as Talladega. Handling is key throughout the race. Yes, you want speed, but you're drafting most of the race anyway. So where you qualify, you can qualify in the back, and by lap 20, find yourself in 10th because they're drafting. So let's go to the association. A few games on the night, starting at 8. The Warriors are at the Rockets. Kings are at the Pelicans. At 8:30, the Heat are at the Mavericks. At 8:30, the Thunder are at the Timberwolves. Um, there you go. That's my fault. I should have removed her from the screen, but I don't think she knows she still has the camera on. 9 o'clock Clippers are at the Jazz. Let's go to the NHL. Again, the four nations, United States and Finland, the drop of the puck, 8 p.m. Let's go to end the NCAA women's basketball. Top 25 action tonight. There's a lot. There's a full women's slate, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, with 13 seconds left in the fourth, number 10 NC State leads Miami 76-74. NC State has called a timeout. At the half, number 13 Duke over Wake Forest 29-19. Right now in the fourth, Louisville is all over number 23 Florida State 70-57. In the third, number 15 Tennessee over Auburn 50-34. That's in the third. At the half, Nebraska and number 17 Maryland are tied 45 apiece. And now my screen is frozen again. Hopefully everybody can hear me. If not, again, we are having weather here. And that could be the problem. So let me. And there we go. Sorry about that. Very, very windy outside. So it's messing with the internet. I was saying Nebraska and number 17 Maryland tied at 45 apiece at the half. Number 3 Texas leads number 8 Kentucky 23-22 in a second. Number 4 South Carolina all over Florida 59-30. That's in the second. Also in the second, number 12 North Carolina up on Virginia Tech 33-26, 35-28, updated. At the half, number 19 Georgia Tech is trailing Clemson 37-26. At 7:30, Minnesota's at number 9 Ohio State. At 8 o'clock, number 2 Notre Dame is at Pittsburgh. At 10 p.m., number 1 UCLA is at number 6 USC in a Big Ten showdown. Let's go to the men's. Top 25 action tonight. Only 2. Number 25 Maryland is at Nebraska. That's at 8:30. And then at 9 o'clock, number 14 Memphis is at South Florida. In the world of golf, the Genesis Invitational, Torrey Pines South Course. And of course, my screen is frozen again. This could be a lost cause. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if it refreshes, if it comes back. If not, then I will have to reload again. Yes, this might be cut way shorter than I would have thought because the wind is wreaking havoc on the internet. The Genesis Invitational, Torrey Pines South Course. Denny McCarthy, your leader at 4 under. Seamus Power and Patrick Rogers are in second at 3 under. Davis Thomas, Wyndham Clark, Scotty Scheffler, all at 2 under, tied for 4th. There you have it. Trying to look over some other things here. Let me go to the world of NASCAR. Again, both these races will set the field, the entire field, for the Daytona 500. So I need to make my picks. when you look at the history, the current drivers who are in the field, and of course, here we go again with it freezing. I don't know if anybody can hear me. This is not goods. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can because I'm about to throw my laptop through a wall. Recent Daytona 500 or recent Daytona finishes. A lot of these drivers have really a bad average finish, mostly because of the big one. And when you look at top fives overall, oops, the likes of Jimmy Johnson, who's not going to finish in the top five, the likes of Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace is up there. Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, David Reagan, Ryan Blaney. Again, this race is more a war of attrition because of the handling. Who's going to position himself in the right place? You will see a lot of drivers wheeling and dicing in the duels just to see what they have, who they draft well with, who they don't draft well with. You're going to see cars drop to the back, try to make their way to the front. They're going to do all kinds of things to see what they have car wise. So I'm going to pick my top five, and then I'm going to pick four, and then the winner. I think Denny Hamlin, just because he's so strong at Daytona, he'll finish in the top five. I think Logano will. I think Buescher will. I think Keselowski will. And yes, I'm going to be a homer because I am a Ryan Blaney fan now. Because I really don't follow it all that much anymore. Ryan Blaney's come close many times. He just missed out on back-to-back championships last year. Of course, the screen's frozen again because the wind outside is howling. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Let's try this again. So I've got Ryan Blaney winning the race because I'm a homer. Hamlin, Logano, Buescher, Keselowski all finish in the top five with Ryan Blaney winning. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. I will be back on Monday. Early eating sports buffet with the Ginch. Again, thanks so much to Lauren Hart. It's greatly appreciated. Practice compassion, practice empathy, have passion for what you do. Tell somebody you love them today. It might make a difference. Hug somebody today. It might make a difference. And if you see somebody struggling, don't poo poo it. Inquire about what's wrong. Just don't shove them under the rug. So, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay safe. Stay warm. Check on your elderly. Check on your pets. I'm out. Peace. And since it's the Daytona 500, I played Speed Racer at the top of the show. Let's keep a car theme going, shall we?